Danny Gathon for Pro Boxing fans, delighted to have with me unified welterweight world champion Lauren Price. Lauren, you've been world champion for a while now, but I bet that word unified sounds a bit sweeter in front of it.
Yeah, it does, to be fair. Yeah, great night, Royal Albert Hall, a night that lasts for me, forever. Historic, iconic venue against, Jonas, which, yeah, I enjoyed and come through and, moving on to other things, no?
As you say, you came through in very good fashion against, one of the best female fighters this country's seen, certainly professionally, and Tasha Jonas. How do you reflect on that night now? Top of the bill, Sky Sports, really big fight, and you came through with flying colours.
Yeah, I always believed, that I would, if I'm honest. That's without sounding, big-headed or anything like that. I just believe in myself and um like you said, to do it on Sky Sports, to headline, it's up there with, one of the best nights of my life. Getting my hand raised and to do it in the fashion I done it in. Yeah, very proud moment for me.
Is there any part of you that's surprised, not with what you've managed to do in the ring, but with how things have managed to fall into place in your professional boxing journey? Obviously, what happens in the ring is a small part of it. Politics play a part. Promoters and broadcasters don't always get on, but three world titles and nine fights, it's not bad going.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think I've always kind of had, you know, expected big things from winning Olympic gold. I wanted to move fast. I wanted to be in the biggest fights, and that's it really, just climbing the ladder and continuing the journey. Obviously, like starting out in your pro career, you need a couple of fights just to, feel your feet. It is different, but I felt like each fight I've improved and I just keep improving.
How much have things changed for you outside of the ring? It feels like from the outside looking in, your profile's sort of exploded in the last few months. In terms of your day-to-day life, I know you've obviously got a lot more media obligations now, but are you noticing it? Are people stopping you in the street more, fans looking pictures and that?
Oh yeah, definitely in Wales anyway. But yeah, I've just come back from Mexico and I was out there as well, and people are recognizing me. So on a wider scale, it's brilliant. And if it wasn't for fans, I wouldn't be able to have, a slot wouldn't be able to shine and have our nights. So I'll always give my time, and it's great, and I'm very grateful for that support. It has gone bigger, from my profile, and I think that's obviously having the support from boxing on a platform like Sky as well, and having the opportunities of, being on an all-female card that Boxer and Sky put on. Even with me boxing in Wales in May, that was kind of like my breakout point. I had my own come in, my own fans come out and watch me, and yeah, it just went from there.
I just wonder, has Rob McCracken given you any advice on that side of things? Because he's been there alongside the biggest star, probably British boxing scene, and the rise of Anthony Joshua. Just wondered, is there anything he said to you about, managing the outside of the ring stuff, the fanfare, the media, so that your boxing doesn't suffer as, your profile continues to grow?
Yeah, like wherever Rob says, he's someone who I trust. I probably see him like a father figure, and he's a great guy. And like I said, I always like check in with him, and he kind of he basically says, "Oh, you're like Froch, basically, just get in there, fight anyone," and yeah, which is a massive. I'm like, oh, what, Froch's a legend, what he done in the sport. So, that's great. And yeah, he's been in, he's done it. And like I said, he knows, the pro game very well.
Just while I've got you, Lauren, I've got to ask your thoughts on a fight. I'm sure you had a very close eye on the weekend just gone. Mikaela Mayer defeating Sandy Ryan in the rematch. Obviously, very close competitive fight first time round. I think this time Mikaela a more conclusive winner in the eyes of most. What do you make of that fight?
Yeah, I thought she boxed very well, to be fair. She started fast, she worked well with the body, her combination punches were good. I seen her winning quite comfortable. Maybe like towards the later rounds, she got a bit tired, but that was understandable with her output. And yeah, I thought she'd done the job well in style. And that's a fight. I think it's a great fight to make next. We both said that we want this, so I respect her, and she's a great role model inside and outside the ring. And yeah, like I said, the fight sells itself. with me saying that, I wanted the winner of Mayer and, Ryan after the Jonas fight, and then her coming out and saying she wants to fight me. It's just blown up in a way. Like, I've gone into Tesco's yesterday, people are already saying to me, "Oh, when's the fight happening?" Like, oh, I mean, nothing has been actually like sorted yet. We both want it, and that'll get figured out. But people are already saying like, "Oh, I want to come and watch, I want to come and support." It's blown up already.
As you say there, it seems, a no-brainer to make that fight next. Mikaela's obviously been over here in the past, box on boxer shows. You've got three, she's got one, so by that logic, it's got to land in the UK, right?
I've got five. Yeah, so it's got to land in the UK. Yeah, but
And
we'll
just go on, sorry.
we said we'll see. That's obviously down to obviously Rob, her team, Ben, Top Rank. All them conversations got to happen.
Now, you and Mikaela have got an opponent in common in Natasha Jonas. Mikaela defeated by Natasha in albeit a very close fight. A lot of people thought she won. However, you beat Natasha in most people's eyes very, very convincingly. And, a shutout in the eyes of some pundits. Does that give you confidence? I know we say styles make fights and all this, but does that give you, not that you'd be lacking confidence anyway, but that if it was to materialise next, that, you take confidence from her fight with Tasha compared to yours?
Um, a little bit, but I don't really look into that too much because, like you said, like we're all different and styles make fights. I just believe in myself, and I have done from day one, and it's a fight that I believe I win. I think us, both our styles, Mayer and mine, I think it gels quite well. If I'm honest, I think it's a great fight. But I think it's a fight that I do come through again and win and show a level of good I am.
And I know you've done hours of media, so I'll only ask you a couple more quick ones. We've seen July, the trilogy between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. Before I get your thoughts on the third fight, what did you make of the second one? It was a very close fight like the first one. I feel like stateside, there was a bit of outrage that Amanda Serrano didn't get it, whereas in the eyes of people over here, it was a sort of pick 'em fight, could have gone either way. What was your read on their second fight?
I just think it's always going to be like that. It's going to be that close. People are going to have, their opinions whether Taylor is the better boxer, where Serrano, puts it on her and gets her fights, combinations off and puts it on her. But it's an odd one, isn't it? I mean, like I've been talking about this. Women's boxing. There's not much depth, but to have a third fight, it's great, I suppose, for them as well for financial reasons. Um, and it's a great fight again. And like I said, the main thing is that whoever wins is fair, and I think it's a great fight to make again. But I did have when I looked at it, I did have Katie winning the last fight.
And gun to your head, who's going to win the third one?
Ooh, I'm gonna say Serrano.
Okay. And just to bring it back to yourself before I let you go, Lauren, how does it feel that, you're 9 fights in and you've got the likes of Claressa Shields with speaking about a potential fight between you? Now, I know there's a bit of a weight disparity at the moment. She says she can't get lower than 154. Just one weight class up for yourself, but to have that fight being discussed, as I say, when you're only 9 fights in, you must be doing something right.
Yeah, definitely. She's a great fighter. When you look at her, we both, she got two Olympic gold medals. I've got one at the same weight at middleweight, and it's a fight definitely that I've always thought that would happen. Um, and yeah, my main focus is on becoming undisputed, but I'd love to share the ring with Shields, and I also believe, I can beat her and I can win and come out on top. So yeah, potentially, we could have three fights, Shields and Price. Who knows?
If that fight was to materialise with Clarissa, there's probably going to be a fair bit of trash talk that comes along with it. You be up for that?
I don't do any trash talking, but I think the level that we're both at, people know it's going to be a good fight and it'll sell. But
Lauren,
regardless, you got to say to me whatever.
Lauren, I'll let you get on. Thanks very much for speaking to pro boxing fans. And yeah, we look forward to news, be it Mikaela Mayer or whoever else on your next fight. Thanks very much.